It's our second game of the day in Charlotte. The 5 seed North Carolina, the 12 seed Notre Dame. The Irish with a win yesterday to start the tournament. We take a look at the bracket. Georgia Tech held off a late charge by Virginia to advance to tomorrow's quarterfinal against the #1 team in the country, the Duke Blue Devils. Wake Forest, Clemson, Louisville, the other in the top 4, waiting their turn. We're back at you. Dave O'Brien alongside Corey Alexander and Angel Gray joining us. Thanks so much for tuning in. You know, North Carolina, even though they lost their last game of the regular season to Duke, they were a very hot team moving in. They had won 6 straight.
And when you consider what they've done, they've been able to start a bigger lineup. Jalen Withers going back into the starting lineup at the 4, Drake Powell at the 3. It's made them a better rebounding team, and one of the reasons why they've been able to win 6 of 7. But they're going to have to win 3 straight here, OB. Forgive me, 4 straight to be able to make it into the NCAA tournament.
Got to do 4 and 4. Notre Dame, on the other hand, with a gritty win over Pitt, helped by a very controversial call in the last second, but here they are in day 2.
And these two teams got together for a instant classic the last time they met. Elliot Cadeau with a 4-point play to win it at Notre Dame. So, of course, with the Fighting Irish coming to the Tar Heel State, they're looking for some get back.
There was 17 lead changes and what turned out to be a 1-point victory for North Carolina at South Bend. We'll see if we have more of the same. Notre Dame coming in at 15 and 17. North Carolina at 20 and 12. Let's go to Angel.
Thanks, Dave. Well, Coach, it's no secret that your main guys have logged a lot of minutes over these last 4 games. But why is their heart the most important body part going into this one?
We just got a bunch of really tough dudes. And there's a lot of them that don't want their careers to end, their seasons to end. So they're fighting for each other. They're doing everything they can to just keep it going together.
What's the priority going against a rested North Carolina team?
For us, we talked about a bunch of keys, but taking care of the basketball, keeping them out of transition, and protecting the paint.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Dave.
Little bit of good luck, Angel, on their side right now after what happened yesterday in the last half second of play. Marcus Burton is certainly their star, wearing number 3 for Notre Dame. One of the great players in the conference, frankly, at 22 points a game.
And the 8th leading scorer in the ACC, and when you consider what he does, getting inside the painted area, making plays for himself or his teammates, he's always dangerous on the offensive end of the floor. It'll be a great matchup seeing him go up against Elliot Cadeau and R.J. Davis of the Tar Heels here this afternoon.
He was a big factor in that 4 overtime victory. Named to the All-ACC second team, was the ACC Player of the Week in the final week. He had 24 against Stanford, followed by 43 against Cal in that 4 overtime game. Our officials today are Roger Ayers, Clarence Armstrong, and Jamel Spearman. So an outstanding crew here for game number 2 as well. And we are set to go. Notre Dame with a 1-point win yesterday, 55-54. Will that spur them on in this tournament? Will they be the team that takes a magic carpet ride, much like NC State did last year? We'll find out. We're underway as North Carolina wins the opening tip. North Carolina, Joe Lunardi projecting them among the first 4 outs right now in the NCAA tournament. Cadeau to Davis. They'll swing it. R.J. Davis, 41% beyond the 3-point line. Powell's going to lift that one and swish it in. Drake Powell gets him started.
And Drake Powell has been different, but look at this, OB. Drake Powell at 6'7", guarding Marcus Burton, the ACC's leading scorer, after knocking down the 3, picking him up 94 feet. Hubert Davis wants to put size on the score that Burton is.
Konstantinovsky had trouble getting up, back to Davis. Tay Davis, who gets him 15 points, about 5 rebounds a game. Shot clock to 7. Roper on the move into the paint. Little bump there and takes the foul. And he'll be headed to the line. That was with 3 on the shot clock.
And that's been an issue for the Tar Heels throughout the year. A lot of it has to do with Elliot Cadeau getting in early foul trouble. But look at Burton on the move. But Drake Powell chasing him everywhere he goes. But even when he goes down, in denial, not allowing Burton to catch the ball easy, trying to take away his space.
Boy, talk about shadowing him. A bank there for Roper.
I was going to say, are you going to mention that he just banked in the free throw?
56% foul shooter. He will take what he gets.
I agree. And
a rebound hauled in by Jalen Withers. North Carolina, the staggering number on Carolina as we look at their starting five, just 1-11 against quad ones this year. That's unheard of for the Tar Heels as Davis misses his first one.
Yeah, the Tar Heels scheduled correctly, but they just didn't win any of those games. So that's the reason why I think they actually have to win this tournament in order to find themselves in the NCAA field.
Now Lalaco, a double-figure guy along with Burton and Davis. And for Notre Dame, a pretty average team statistically, if not below, and a quick strike on the other end for Van Allen Lubin.
Nice find by Elliot Cadeau, pushing the pace, and Van Allen Lubin running the floor, recognizing that Cadeau will get him the basketball. All he has to do is run and put himself in great position.
Burton will launch. That glances away. Good three-point shooter, 39%, but not that time. And Cadeau will call it out. A sophomore from West Orange, New Jersey. Back out for Powell. Cadeau hits it. Boy, if he does a little bit of that today, that could be a huge difference.
Great sign for Cadeau early, already dropping a dime and knocking down a three ball. And if he gets confident, this North Carolina team is dangerous. Davis harassed by Van Allen Lubin, who's stuck right with him. Davis into the offensive zone. Open shooter Withers, too strong. It's a homecoming for the 6'9" grad from Charlotte. I'm sure he's got quite a few family members and friends in the arena today. There's a lot of Carolina blue, as you would expect. Aleko will bounce it out. Konstantinovsky, 6'10" grab from Ukraine, gives it up. Davis hits it. And Tay Davis can have an advantage throughout this game, playing really more at the 4 spot, but difficult to be able to keep him out of the painted area. Very good with the basketball in his hands and showing off his mid-range touch. He's one of the most improved players in the conference. He's up from 9 points to 15 this year. Aleko went for the ball. Then Allen Lubin with a miss in tight. And here comes Burton, named to the All-ACC second team. He's the ACC Player of the Week, the final week of the season. Little leaner here, but short. 8-3 lead here for North Carolina in the opening moments of their first game of the tournament. Withers got a good look. Absolutely nails it. And he has given North Carolina, you talk about the 6 of 7 that they've won down the stretch. A lot of it's had to do with Jalen Withers coming in, knocking down threes, and more importantly, helping the Tar Heels on the glass. Carolina opening up 11-3 early. Burton couldn't find a seam. Cadeau runs into the pick. Konstantinovsky in close for 2. And Nikita does the majority of his helping this team out on the defensive glass. Had 16 defensive rebounds in the 4 overtime win against Cal. Not much of a guy that you feature on offense, but nice bucket on that end as Withers knocks down his 2nd consecutive 3. Look out. Jalen Withers and Powell going into that lineup down the stretch really boosted the Tar Heels. And they got hot right about that same time and won 6 straight. The swing for Roper. Little contact. Can't finish that with the left hand. Tried to interrupt Cadeau, but he got free of it. Davis will swing. Guess who's open again? Withers. And hits another one. I'm not sure why he hesitated, why he waited. However, it still hit the bottom of the net. Jalen Withers, OB, you said it. He's back home where it all began. And he is showing off in front of all of his family and his friends. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. And Bill Burr. Drop Dead Years, the hilarious stand-up special premiering March 14th, streaming on Hulu. Corey and Dave with you. Let's toss it to Angel Gray.
Well, guys, just a reminder, a good way to describe this Notre Dame team is battle-tested. As we mentioned, now 4 consecutive games that have come down to the last possession for them. But Coach Shrewsbury told me sometimes you just need the luck of the Irish, but he knows that it's a little bit more than that. He showed them the film after their loss to Wake Forest. He said, we grow. In these moments, we battle for winning plays. So a stat that may not show up in the box score, but to keep your eyes on are the second chance opportunities, the 50-50 balls that he has challenged his team to create throughout games. And they're actually going to have to guard the three a little bit better too, huh, Corey?
They absolutely will, Angel. And when you consider the matchup between these two teams the first time was a 17 lead change game, came down to the wire, and the Fighting Irish had that game won. They felt like they had it in the bag, but gave up a three at the end and fouled Elliot Cadeau on the three, made the free throw, and North Carolina ends up walking away with a 1-point victory on the Fighting Irish floor.
Wild one there as he pulled it out by 1 point. Notre Dame from the baseline. And looking for a cutter. Back up top for Garrett Sundra. He's 6'11". Kneze working on Jackson. Davis, shot clock a factor now at 6. Tay Davis kicks it back out. Kneze's open. Got a great look. That wouldn't drop for him.
And that's been a struggle for the Fighting Irish. Everyone outside of Matalako not really getting it going from beyond the arc yesterday.
Washington, tough catch. Gets it up there in a misfire. North Carolina, by the way, getting off to the quick start, especially Withers. R.J. Davis, far and away their leading scorer, 17 a game. He's their only starter who has not scored yet.
Yeah, they've gotten a great production from Jalen Withers. The 3 threes for him early. Then Alan Lubin running the floor, getting the layup, and Cadeau getting involved in the scoring mix. But now you've got a completely different unit on the floor when you go to the bench. For Carolina, they still have a tremendous amount of depth.
Davis tiptoeing in. Went for the scoop on the reverse. That wouldn't fall. Carolina's early defense very strong. Trimble tried to shovel that pass on a bounce.
Oh, what a great play by Burton.
Yes, hitting the deck.
But make sure he gets it to a teammate before he falls down to maintain possession.
Davis zips the pass, and Kneze's the open man to drill it.
Derek Kneze, who's been getting more minutes as of late. Without Braden Shrewsbury for the Fighting Irish, Micah Shrewsbury had to get more guys minutes.
Trimble over the top. Second effort and the foul. And that will send North Carolina and Jalen Washington to the line, the 6'10 junior.
Jalen Washington, of course, from the state of Indiana. So we're going up against the Fighting Irish. It's Hubert Davis in his 4th season now with the Tar Heels.
His team settled for a lot of one-and-done shots against Duke. They managed only 8 assists in that game. That did not make him very happy. That was one more than their season-low 7 against Auburn back in Maui in November. And the great Roy Williams looking on.
With his wife Wanda on his left. Also Buzz Peterson, North Carolina legend, on his right hand. Buzz, of course, with the great Mitch Kupchak. Beside him, who Mitch Kupchak and Buzz both operated in this building for a very long time with the administration of the Charlotte Hornets. So find themselves right at home here at the Spectrum Center.
It's the legends section there.
That is it.
18-8 North Carolina. Taking on the 12 seed Notre Dame. North Carolina the 5 seed. Burt breaking free for the pull-up jumper.
This is where North Carolina's dangerous. Off of missed shots, you get them out in transition. Great job by Sundra coming in there, denying Ian Jackson's opportunity at the rim.
Jackson just named to the ACC All-Freshman team. Sir Mohammed handing off for Burton. Burton trying to carry it all the way through, but can't make that one go. Cadeau on the run. Jackson will drive and kick outside. Trimble's open straight on. That's just stuck there. North Carolina's had an opportunity to really break away. They've missed a couple of good-looking shots. Mohammed on the dribble. On the bounce feed, Kinesi outside. Alako, no. Alako does hit 46% beyond the three-point line, but not that one.
Yeah, he was really the only one they could get going from beyond the arc in yesterday's win over Pittsburgh.
Jackson for Washington. Boy, the big guys are making them.
Yeah, Washington can shoot the basketball, and that's one of the things that Hubert Davis has been stressing to him throughout his entire career, to take those shots confidently, forces him to take a bunch of them in practice, and now you see that work starting to take over, playing in the game.
North Carolina 6 out of 9 beyond the three-point line. Mohammed wants to take it strong, shoveled it up there, but a miss. One and done.
And Seth Trimble will continue to attack. He's not going to wait on his teammates. If he's going to the rim and you're backpedaling, you are at his mercy.
And he can make it hurt, too. 10:46 to go here in the first half. North Carolina, a hot start. We take a look at today's Players Spotlight, brought to you by Cintas.
And you've got to look at R.J. Davis. A season ago, the ACC Player of the Year, but you look at the overall numbers, 2,640 points. Second all-time at the University of North Carolina, third in ACC history, and the leading scoring guard, surpassing this gentleman, Phil Ford, one of the best to ever do it at the University of North Carolina, the first freshman to ever be named most valuable player in the ACC tournament. Could we see another one this year, OB?
Could. Certainly could. In fact, I might bet the mortgage on it. At this point, we'll get a look at Cooper Flagg and Duke tomorrow. They'll take on Georgia Tech. Duke, the number 1 seed, number 1 team in the country. Trimble at the line, 82%. And the junior from Wisconsin, in and out with a second.
There were stretches of this season where Seth Trimble was the best player for the North Carolina Tar Heels, especially early when they were in Maui. He was the guy that they relied on the most. And he's actually their leading rebounder, even though he's 6'3", and which is rare to find that with a North Carolina team because of all of the great rebounders they've had throughout their tradition.
Serta way downtown, but the freshman can't cash in. Carolina's hitting all the threes. That one came free, and it's going to be over to Notre Dame.
Serta did a great job there getting the basketball, getting a hand on it, forcing it off of the knee of Ian Jackson, going at full speed, kicking it out of bounds.
Well, for Notre Dame and Micah Shrewsbury, a pair of ACC tournament wins could lessen the sting of a season like this one. 15 and 17 at the moment, but they're down 22-8. Shot clock to 10. Burton on the drive, drew the contact, and he made it.
And that's what he does, OB. He challenges the trees, goes in amongst the bigger players, and is still able to finish as tough as they get. When you think about Marcus Burton getting downhill, he does a great job launching into the defenders. Watch him jump into Washington to be able to use his momentum against them. Knocks him backwards and still has the concentration to be able to finish off the glass.
Number 4 scorer in Division I at about 22 points a game at 43 in that 4 overtime victory against Cal. That was the most for an Irish player since the great Adrian Dantley had 49 against Air Force in 1975.
AD, you're talking about one of the best of all time.
Powell shot, airmailed it. That didn't touch anything. Under 10 minutes to go, first half in Charlotte. Second round of the ACC tournament. Marcus Burton, one of the best players in the conference. On the move again. Boy, uses his body so well.
He really does. He jumps into defenders, not allowing them to jump and block his shot. So by the time they do take off, they're actually lifting him even further into the air.
Irish coming to life. Ben Allen Lubin, not there.
Ben Allen Lubin wanting this game badly. He started his college career at Notre Dame, so going up against some guys that maybe were teammates a couple of seasons ago.
Maybe feeling a little bit too much. Not one three-pointer all season.
Yeah, it was a little uncharacteristic.
Yes. Davis inside, went for the slam, draws the whistle. Meanwhile, R.J. Davis ready to check back in along with Jalen Withers for North Carolina.
But watch Burton as he gets downhill, does a great job getting past Seth Trimble, a tough defender, but jumps into Trimble direction. So now as Trimble jumps, all he can do is boost Burton into the air, allowing him to be the only one in his space to finish.
Tay Davis at the line. Big junior from Indianapolis at 6'9". And he'll have another one coming. 8:54 to go in the half. Notre Dame won the ACC tournament in 2015. Mike Bray at the helm at the time.
Twice they've actually gone to the championship game, finishes a runner-up. Now a 7-0 run for the Fighting Irish to try to get back in this one, answered by the first bucket from R.J. Davis.
R.J. against Duke on Saturday played in his 170th game. He broke the ACC and Carolina all-time records previously held by his teammate Armando Bacot.
That's a lot of games.
That is a lot of games. 170 games.
He is actually neck and neck with DeJuan Harris of Kansas right now. Both guys will play their 171st games today. I believe tomorrow for Harris in the Big 12 again.
Konstantinovsky with the basket. And a big guy from Ukraine makes it a 25-17 game. Davis again. Tried to make it two straight. Rebound picked off. Carolina with another opportunity. Cadeau, who has hit a three in this one. Powell on the attack and drops it in.
Smart play by Drake Powell, recognizing the defender, closing out on him. The quickness showing off his ability to get to the basket, but looking at picking up 94 feet.
Burton bump before the shot. He draws another foul. Tough to stick with him, and a very good foul shooter too, 85%. We'll take a timeout. We've got 7:34 to go in Charlotte. Our second.
The North Carolina Tar Heels average 8 3-point field goals made per game. Obi, they've already made 7 in the first 12 and a half minutes of this game. And multiple guys getting involved in the mix when you think about Jalen Withers knocking down 3 of his own, 5 different players, including R.J. Davis, knocking down a 3 for the Heels.
Man, that keeps up. That is straight uphill for Notre Dame when you get that kind of balance.
It really is. And when you get North Carolina shooting the basketball this well, they are pretty much unguardable because you have so many guards that can get to the rim and make plays. It only opens up space for Cadeau and R.J. Davis to be able to attack downhill.
Burton on the drive. Can't finish that one. And a foul against Notre Dame.
And a great job defensively once again by Drake Powell as R.J. Davis and Jalen Withers both go over and congratulate him on a tremendous effort. Gets to the spot and then stays in legal guarding position to contest the shot. Great job by Drake Powell moving his feet.
Konstantinovsky just picked up his first, and a foul, another whistle here against Notre Dame. That's Burton with a personal, his first. And Elliot Cadeau slow to rise. In recent games, R.J. Davis has taken over more of a floor general responsibility for North Carolina. And at times, Carolina's played cleaner.
Well, they have Cadeau has had issues with turnovers, and he's a dynamic passer as he's looking away to find Jalen Withers for his 4th 3-point field goal in this first half in the corner. But Cadeau oftentimes prone to turnovers as well. Hubert Davis trying to cut down on some of those, get him to make a couple safer plays. But when Cadeau is in a rhythm offensively, he's dangerous.
Speaking of rhythm, I mean, Withers can't miss beyond the 3-point line. He has been devastating. There's got to be something to that, coming home, back to your home city.
Well, and also there's the finale. I mean, because if you look at the University of North Carolina, if they lose this game, they will not qualify for the NCAA tournament. 2 seasons ago, when they didn't qualify for the NCAA tournament, they declined the invitation to the NIT. I don't know that Hubert Davis would take his team to the NIT this year or not, but I know they have their eyes set on getting to the NCAA tournament. And the best way for them to make sure they ensure that is with the automatic bid of winning the ACC tournament.
As mentioned, Joey Brackett say they're on the list for the first 4 out, leaving the ACC with but 3 bids come Selection Sunday if they don't make it. Duke, Clemson, and Louisville. Here's another one way downtown by Jalen Withers. They can't stop him, and he can't stop laughing.
Well, he's got his own celebration, which each and every one of his teammates get involved in as he knocks down a 3. And they've been able to do it to the tune of 5 times already here this afternoon.
Already with 15, he averages 6 points a game. So he's been the early story. Powell got in the way of that pass and deflected it out with 5:51 to go before the break.
Well, there's no place like home. Dorothy taught us that in the Wiz. I know it was the Wizards, Ross, but I go to the Wiz, OB. That's my go-to.
I hear you.
And when you think about Jalen Withers, he is finding home to be a very comfortable place here thus far.
I should say so. And that'll go the other way with 5:51 left in the half and a timeout. 33-17, North Carolina loading up from 3-point distance behind Jalen Withers. And look at his reaction, and also that of Micah Shrewsbury, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish head coach. Let's calm down and maybe put someone on that guy. Jalen Withers is a good 3-point man, 44%, but today he's great.
He's been phenomenal this far, OB. 5 of 6 from beyond the arc, but more importantly, the confidence that he's bringing to this ACC tournament. And again, it was a setback for the Tar Heels. They were truly expecting to win the game at home against the Blue Devils on Jalen Withers, R.J. Davis's senior night, but they did not get that win, and they understand what's in front of them right now. And when that finality starts to set in, recognizing that the sense of urgency of winning each and every game is the only way you can continue your season, you often get performances as such. And defensively, another shot clock violation is our guy Roger Ayers. That's his least favorite call, OB.
Why is that?
Because he does not like to touch the top of his hair. I mean, he's got it perfectly placed, each and every strand, and you can attest to that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm in his league though in terms of the coif being absolutely perfect. I mean, mine doesn't move very much. Rogers does not move at all. So North Carolina really trying to put the hammer down and doing it beyond the 3-point line. Great fake by Davis. Withers. Oh, if it's a 3, he says no matter. Davis on the drive. And the stuff.
But remember, we talked about with knocking down the 3s, how it opens up the interior. Notre Dame's so fearful of the Tar Heels shooting the 3 at this point, it makes those driving lanes easy for guys like R.J. Davis to be able to go in and just drop it off for a dunk.
A 10-0 run to open it up 35-17. Mohammed with a long-distance shot. That clangs away. North Carolina looking very sharp in their opener in the ACC tournament. Then Alan Lubin powers his way in for a bucket.
And Lubin is just a mismatch. You've got Matalako, for all intents and purposes, is a point guard trying to guard the 5-man for the Tar Heels. That's a mismatch, but you can't help off of anyone on the perimeter.
Davis. They swing for Burton. Back for Mohammed, wants that baseline. And a long one, yes, on target. Malako at 46% beyond that 3.
Yeah, Malako just didn't have enough attempts or makes to be able to qualify.
Davis on the drive, draws the foul.
R.J. Davis took a tough hit after the foul on that one. However, he'll be back to shoot his free throws when we return as we look at the Queens.
Big bubble game in the SEC tournament. South Carolina, Arkansas, the Hogs have to win. They're on the right side of the bubble now. They're up 21, Coach. It was a 2-point game.
Well, then Colin Murray Boyle said, you know what? I want to win and I want to go into the lottery. He has been dominant in this second half on this comeback.
Now, Arkansas is still up 2 with 2 seconds to go. If they salt this away, obviously very important to those watching North Carolina as they would secure themselves a spot in the tournament, says Joe Lenardi. OB, CA, back to you.
Gallant, coach. Thank you very much. 4 minutes to go. North Carolina really sharp and really moving the ball.
They are, OB. All 5 guys touch the basketball. It starts with the Seth Trimble feed into the post as he cuts away. The double team allows different guys to attack, drive, and kick. Jalen Withers turns down to 3 as they continue to move the basketball and get the easy dunk off of R.J. Davis penetration. Both R.J. Davis and Elliot Cadeau with 4 assists, but more importantly, OB, 0 turnovers in this game, sharing the basketball extremely well.
Only thing that's gone wrong for RJ is he took a shot to the nose.
Yeah, that was after he got fouled. So that's an old NBA trick. Once you hear the whistle, the second guy can hit you as hard as they want because then you won't get a foul called on him. And RJ took some little friendly fire afterwards.
Now you sound like you're speaking from experience.
Oh, yeah. That's my guy, Charles Oakley. He used to live for those. Oak Tree would hear the whistle, someone else fouled you, and you go in and try to lay it up. He would clean your clock, OB. You had to teach the rookies early. You hear the whistle, stop playing if Oak is on the floor.
Professional basketball. Under 4 minutes to go, the first half in Charlotte. 19-point lead for Carolina, their biggest. Mohammed reversing field, blocked away. And what a half Withers is having, offensively and defensively.
And that's one of the things that he's brought. He's brought size to the front line of the Tar Heels. Started the first 7 games for Hubert Davis this year. And then once they returned from Maui, started coming off the bench. Made the change to get him back in the starting lineup after the Clemson contest. And he has paid dividends for the Tar Heels.
Malacco gives it off for Mohammed. That shot barely gets to the iron. And out it goes. And coming up tonight, ACC Network, 11:30 Eastern. We're after the final second-round game. And Nothing But Net crew will have complete breakdowns of the whole day, highlights, analysis, and more interviews, too, and they'll look at tomorrow's quarterfinals.
11:30 p.m. That must be Luke and Booze coming in, because I can tell you right now, my guy Boeheim is not going to make it to 11:30.
Davis looking in. 3:10 to go. Trimble will feed up top for Jackson. He has skewed the long one and tipped up and in by Van Allen Lubin.
But once again, attacking the basket, getting it on the glass, he opens up that opportunity for Van Allen Lubin to get the offensive rebound, because 2 Notre Dame defenders had to step over and try to take away the easy layup from Ian Jackson.
Roper and blocked away, and 2 guys got after it. Van Allen Lubin with a big swat. Trimble left it in the corner. Davis, he'll launch it. The second effort here on the offensive glass for North Carolina.
But look at the effort you're getting from Van Allen Lubin. And this is really what caused Hubert Davis to make the change to go with Lubin at the starting 5 in comparison to Jalen Washington's ability to track down offensive rebound.
Jackson, step back. Jackson can't hit it. So 2 minutes before the break, the defense has just been tremendous for Carolina.
That's 3 blocks.
The feed for Jackson. Great job getting to the other end by Kneze.
The mistake there was not throwing it up. Seth Trimble, you can throw it up anywhere. He can go get it. Ian Jackson with the bounce pass kind of threw the rhythm off in that 2-on-1.
Nine to get up a shot for the Irish. The number 12 seed, Kneze, threading his way through, blocked again.
I think that's 4 consecutive block shots by the Tar Heels.
Davis, front of the iron.
And right now, if you're Lacko, just settle things down. Make sure you run some offense to try to get a good look.
Mohammed attacking with that left hand. No. Gets it back. Kneze into traffic. Malacco got it. Good shooter.
And now Alako puts his hands out, telling everyone to settle down. Just get me the basketball and let me make a shot.
He had 24 points in that 4 overtime thriller against Cal. Davis crossing over, weaving inside. He'll be headed to the line. And it has not been R.J. Davis here in the first half. It's been Jalen Withers who has really put on the show for North Carolina from three-point land. North Carolina with a healthy lead here. Withers with 15, 5 out of 6 outside the arc.
The Tar Heels only credited with 3 blocks on the official stat sheet.
I always wonder about that.
I've seen 4.
At least, I think. Like in rapid fire.
And I think we've called out all 4.
And yet they don't get credit for it.
They don't get credit for it, but I can tell you right now, Hubert Davis has to be happy about the effort that his team is giving on the defensive end of the floor. The problem for Coach Davis throughout this year is oftentimes their defensive effort is relative to what they've been doing offensively. When they're making shots, they're defending this way. But when they're not making their shots, that oftentimes they may hang their head on defense and not paying the attention to detail that's necessary.
20-point game. North Carolina really firing on all cylinders against Notre Dame here in their ACC tournament opener. Leaning inside. Davis will bury that. He's to the line.
Tay Davis is tough to handle for a 5-man, and you got to imagine the fact that the Fighting Irish are playing without Keba Jai, who is in concussion protocol. You're going to play smaller lineups, which gives a guy like Tay Davis an advantage going up against Jalen Washington.
Now Davis, the man who with 0.5 seconds left in a tie game against Pitt yesterday, made the front end. He missed the second, and they held on for the victory after that foul that everybody was talking about. We're under 30 seconds to go, and a timeout here by Hubert Davis. 28.8 in the first half. We'll take the break as well. Hubert with a lot of good things so far. 40-26. North Carolina with a lot of close ones over the course of the season. That started pretty early. 92-90 as they went to Maui and played some of those. Overtime against Michigan State.
And when you bring about the 1-11 record against the quad ones, you see a number of those in this mix. Going to Wake Forest on the road, losing by 1. Many of those opportunities as you play those close games have been a struggle for the Tar Heels throughout this year. The 10 games decided by 1 possession, 6-4 in those games, the most in program history since 53-54. That's going back to, I believe Larry Brown might have been the point guard back in the 50s.
Wow. Ultimately frustrating Tar Heel fans. Yeah, they got the 6 wins, but they lost 4 of those games. Shot clock to 7. Cadeau with a blow by, but not there for him. And a foul with 6.5 showing. And that'll be on Withers. About the only thing he's done wrong in the first half. Did a great half, 43-26. And Burton back on now for Notre Dame. Burton just a sophomore. And among the best scorers in America, 22 points a game coming into play today. Irish put it in.
Uh-oh.
Burton got free, working on Trimble. All the way down to the baseline. Alacco straight on. Yes! And that's how the first half ends. So a little bit of a lift there for the Irish.
And it was dangerous because it was almost a turnover right in front of Micah Shrewsbury, but Marcus Burton quick enough to be able to track it down. But for the Tar Heels, it's been about the 9 3-point field goals in the first half, most of any half this season. And that has spurred them off to a big lead here in the first half.
Angel with Hubert.
Coach, I know that last Notre Dame 3 didn't please you very much there, but your team has done a lot of other great things through the first 20. What are you pleased with?
Well, I'm not pleased with that last minute. You know, the 2 last possessions defensively weren't very good and allowed them to get 6 points. But for the most part, I'm really pleased with the effort on both ends of the floor. I thought we did a nice job defending especially when we defend without fouling. On the offensive end, we're just sharing the basketball. It's fun to watch.
And sometimes it's good to have the hometown kid in Jalen Withers, 5 threes already. What can you tell us about what you've seen from his efficiency?
Well, he's taking great shots, and it's generated off of penetration. We always talk about dominating points in the paint through post and penetration, and that leads to good, wide-open threes, and that's what Jay Witt is generating, and he's knocking them down in the first half.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, as Coach Davis points out, the Sheridan 14 baskets off 10 assists for Carolina. You're watching ESPN's Champ Week presented by Principal. This is the ACC Men's Basketball Tournament presented by T. Rowe Price. North Carolina loving this first half against Notre Dame. Their fans having a great time because the Tar Heels have been raining threes. They hit 9 of them in the first 20 minutes. At one point, they led by 21.
53% from beyond the three-point arc. Jalen Withers with 5 of his own. And when you think about homecomings, you can't ask for more. Jalen Withers from Charlotte and putting on for his family and friends coming to check him out here in the Queen City at the ACC tournament.
The winner of this one will take on the 4 seed Wake Forest tomorrow afternoon. Dave and Corey with you, along with Angel. And you know what? If North Carolina's going to shoot like this and continue to shoot like this, they could be a real factor, maybe come late in the tournament. You know who we're talking about.
They would be very dangerous if they can continue to shoot like this because it opens up the driving lanes for their guards to be able to get into the paint. I thought it was very telling what Hubert Davis said to Angel in his walking off interview. Owning the paint, possessions in the paint, whether it's driving and kicking out or driving and dumping off, either way, they are a much better team when they are getting their guards into the painted area.
Our game track is brought to you by Jimmy John's. North Carolina really sharing the ball exceptionally well with 10 assists. Withers, by the way, is within 5 of tying his career high of 20, which he also did against Notre Dame. He was with Louisville at the time, but closing in on that. Had a great first half. Let's go over to Angel.
Guys, we witnessed a few times throughout the first half Coach Shrewsbury telling his team and trying to convey relax, and that was the continued message at halftime. He said right now, if you're looking at the numbers and where we're shooting from 2, we're shooting too fast, we're hyper, we're making sure that we have to be there for one another, and right now he feels as though that they're playing sped up and having to take control of what they're doing on the inside and stop trying to avoid the blocks. At this point, taking the reins in the second half, starting within the paint.
Yeah, and Angel, when you see that, we watched a lot of that. We counted 4 consecutive blocks, even though they may not have counted on the stat sheet. But the Tar Heels did a tremendous job of protecting the rim. But a lot of those drives from Notre Dame, as Coach Shrewsbury mentioned, were rushed and maybe trying to do it against too many defenders in comparison to moving the basketball.
Davis will drive and score to get Notre Dame going. Well, the big thing for Notre Dame, the most important thing was, in a positive column, they only had 1 turnover.
Well, they only had 1 turnover, but North Carolina didn't put a lot of pressure on them defensively. All the pressure was on the offensive end and trying to find a way to stop the Tar Heels. But when you switch, that's an opportunity Vanilla Lumen have to take advantage of. Gets the rebound, puts it back. But when teams are going to switch against you defensively, you're going to have that mismatch in the post.
Carolina, by the way, they put up their 8th consecutive first half of scoring at least 42 points. On the run on Powell to lay it in, and that's a North Carolina fast break.
It really is, and give Elliot Cadeau a tremendous amount of credit. The kick-ahead pass, his 5th assist of the game. But putting it right in the spot where it allows Drake Powell to be successful.
We only saw that fast break several decades. North Carolina put the fear of God into everybody with those fast breaks. Up top here for Burton. He'll drive on Powell. Roper, no. Godot, a pass and a foul as Roper reached in to commit the personal. North Carolina, 9 3-pointers in the first half and opened up the lead as far as 21. Lubin, Ben Allen Lubin at the line, where he makes 67%. He's had some nice games. He had 19 against Miami, 17 against Pitt.
Yeah, Ben Allen Lubin has been Nice injection of energy and, more importantly, rebounding into the lineup for Hubert Davis late in the season. This starting lineup is what they've won the 6 out of the last 7 games with, and allows them to be better on the glass and limiting other teams' second chance opportunities, which they had struggled with early in the year.
Bird doing a great job getting that contact as he got Powell airborne. And Powell picks up his 3rd. Just getting started here in the second half. Great to have you with us in the ACC tournament here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. Burton to the line, 85%. Out of Mishawaka, Indiana, misfires on the first one.
And Burton, with that pump fake, picks up the 3rd foul on Drake Powell, but Powell's done a tremendous job defensively, using his size to discourage Burton. But now your reward for putting that 3rd foul on Drake Powell is getting the best defender for the Tar Heels in Seth Trimble, who will absolutely get after it as the Fighting Irish go to a little half-court pressure.
Got it deep there for Ben Allen Lubin. He knows exactly what to do with the 13 points.
And the Tar Heels are just taking advantage of the switching. If you're going to put a smaller player on Ben Allen Lubin, he's going to pick you apart. But one thing I do love about what North Carolina is doing right now, especially in the offensive end, they're not falling in love with the 3. Even though they had so much success in the first half, they're not just looking for 3s.
Up top, Serta. On the spin, Roper. That's a pretty play for the basket.
Nice drive by Roper, getting downhill, using the spin move to get the easy layup. But you see right now immediately they're switching defensively. You put Burton guarding Ben Allen Lubin. That's going to be tough.
Right back to him from Cadeau. And a misfire downstairs.
But you'll take that. When you get Ben Allen Lubin that close to the basket, you'll take his chances against Marcus Burton to be able to get you a bucket more times than not.
Notre Dame one and done. 50-34 North Carolina. Ben Allen Lubin backing in, and he'll draw the foul. And he's been the centerpiece these last several possessions for North Carolina.
He really has, and it's very simple action. All they're doing is bringing the ball down the right side of the floor, going screen and roll action. The guards know that they're going to switch. And as soon as they switch, they're not even bringing it to the opposite side. They simply just throw the basketball inside to Ben Allen Lubin and allow him to go to work against a smaller defender.
Alako, the graduate, with the foul for Notre Dame. R.J. Davis on the drive and kick. They've done this so well all day. And another one for Withers to drain it.
But I love the play by Elliot Cadeau, making that one more extra pass to the corner, finding the hot hand of Jalen Withers. And that's the penetration that Hubert Davis was talking about. Attack the paint, drive and kick, another assist for the Heels.
Burton, a shove there by Trimble, no basket, with 16:16 to go. And another 3 by Jalen Withers, who has been the story today for North Carolina. So has their passing been a big narrative. They did not do a good job in the assist column against Duke, and only came up with a handful of assists in that game, just 8 assists. Much, much better today.
But the difference is when Duke switches a lot defensively, but when you switch, when the Blue Devils switch, they're switching a 6'6" guard in Sion James onto Ben Allen Lubin. Sion James can hold his own against anyone. Then when Notre Dame switches, you're putting a generously 5'10", 5'11" Marcus Burton having to guard Ben Allen Lubin, and Lubin is going to win that battle the majority of the time. So Duke's size, the tallest team in America, makes it difficult for opponents when they play their switching defense to be able to take advantage of the mismatch.
Plus, they have so many dudes on defense, guys that just dog you. Cadeau flips it up there. He wanted Ben Allen Lubin to dunk that one, but an errant pass. And Burton tried to get that one up quickly. No, they're one and done again. Cadeau on the break. Trimble interrupted by Roper.
Roper missed Burton. Burton had an opportunity out in front of the traffic.
Davis, nice move, but he airmailed a short one. Tay Davis with the miss. North Carolina in command. They really have been from the opening jump.
Yeah, they started off to a huge lead behind Jalen Withers knocking down threes.
Cadeau back out. Trimble thought about it. Off the fake. Roper keeps it alive. Nicely done.
That's 3 consecutive turnovers for the Tar Heels on the offensive end. They've done a great job of taking care of the basketball thus far.
Konstantinovsky gets it free for Burton. Reversing field. They'll get a corner jumper around and out. Alako a little unlucky. 14:39 to go. And all Carolina.
The Tar Heels operating on all cylinders offensively. The drive, the kick, the one more, and the follow through as the bench loves it, celebrating with Wizards at home.
2025 All ACC First Team led by Cooper Flagg. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Principal. Let our expertise round out yours. And Chucky Hepburn, also the Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC. Maxime Reynaud of Stanford, the big guy who had an outstanding year. And Cal and Stanford, all California, coming up at 7 o'clock tonight here in the ACC tournament.
The big game Eastern version. The big game is what is known when those two teams get together. This time it'll be the first time that it's played on actually the Atlantic coast part of this conference. What is now the All Coast Conference. But the first time it will be played in the Eastern time zone.
So for folks in California, Northern California, a little bit of an earlier start than you're used to, but certainly hope you'll tune that in. I know you will. Withers will launch it.
Why not?
Why not? He's already hit 6 of them today.
But not just the three-point shooting, OB. You mentioned that 8 rebounds already on the way to what could be his 4th double-double of the season. But believe it or not, 2 of his 3 double-doubles this year have come within the last 4 games. And the first one, game 1 of the season against Elon, had 10 and 10. A long time between double-doubles for Jalen Withers.
Davis will draw the foul in the paint. And that'll go against Cade Tyson. We're talking about the California schools and all the miles that they traveled. The ACC going back to Cali. So for Cal, over 16,000. Stanford, nearly 27,000 miles.
You know, Cal will play possibly without their starting backcourt. Devon Blackshear injured, making a great play to send his team to overtime yesterday, and then Jeremiah Wilkinson injured in the second overtime. So it'll be interesting to see if those guys are able to go less than 24 hours later. But when you look at it from the standpoint of travel, I wanted to see, I mean, if they're healthy, you get a chance to see. Stanford went back home after their Saturday game against Notre. Cal stayed. After their Saturday game against Notre Dame, they came directly to Charlotte. So I wanted to see if that travel would play a part in the matchup between the two teams.
Davis with a nice give. Washington with the stuff.
And that's what you want to see from Jay Wash. You want to see him dunking those, not laying them up, not going with finesse, but simply going with power every time he has an opportunity in the paint.
R.J. Davis starting to pile up the assists again. He has 6.
But look at R.J. R.J. Davis did not guard like this when he came to North Carolina. And he has steadily improved his defensive ability, sliding his feet. This is tough to do. You're talking about one of the toughest guards to defend in the ACC. And Marcus Burton and R.J. Davis doing a tremendous job. I believe they caught Drake Powell for the foul on that.
That'd be number 4.
Yeah, that's going to be 4 on Drake Powell. And
now they're going to change it to RJ. So they have changed that back. 12:46 to go. And so Notre Dame will be at the line. In RJ's case, he was like, I played great defense. What are you talking about?
Right, and it was a great effort defensively. There was contact there. I mean, I have no problem with the foul, but I just love the effort that RJ's giving defensively. But, and one of the things we talked about, the finality. This could be his final game. Every time he steps on the floor here in Charlotte at the ACC tournament, it could be the end to what has been an illustrious career for R.J. Davis. I mean, you're talking about he'll go down in history as one of the best to ever do it in ACC history.
No doubt. Carolina's #2 all-time scorer. He is #1 all-time and made three-pointers. Player of the Year. He won the Jerry West Award. He's won a slew of honors.
First-team All-American a season ago. And with that first-team All-American and knocking down another three, also the all-time three-point field goal leader in North Carolina history. His jersey will go in the rafters. And again, their criteria, because Carolina's had so many different guys, but by being ACC Player of the Year and the first-team All-American, his #4 will absolutely hang in the rafters.
Benezi gets a good look, knocks that one down. Can we pause for a second about Tyler Hansbrough, though? We're talking about almost 3,000 points with that career. That's amazing. Every time we see him up there.
In 4 years.
In 4 years.
He did not play 171 games.
Even more amazing to do it in that period of time.
Yes.
And just a shout out there. That's incredible.
Well, I mean, you think about Tyler Hansbrough. There's no one in ACC history that has the resume that he has. You think about the fact that he was 4 times first-team All-ACC. He was 4 times All-American. And so when you consider that no one in ACC history has ever done that, Tyler Hansbrough stands alone.
Up top, that won't drop for Washington. Certainly one of the greatest college players ever.
Agreed.
Notre Dame trying to creep a little bit closer, down by 18. But they have been chasing North Carolina all day. Here in the second game of our ACC tournament. On this particular day, tournament started yesterday. Locko gives it up for Davis. Shot clock is 3. On the spin move, he lost the handle on it, and it never touched the iron. So that is a shot clock violation. And we will take the break. Moving on here deep into the second half, 58-40. North Carolina. T. Rowe Price ACC men's basketball tournament. Here's a look at the bracket. Georgia Tech earlier today held off a late run by Virginia. And the reward for that is you take on the #1 team in the country and the #1 seed in the tournament. Wake Forest awaiting the winner of this one. Louisville will take on the winner of Stanford Cal later tonight. And Clemson will take on SMU and Syracuse, the winner of that one.
And when you look at what has happened thus far, it looks as though chalk will go through in this Wednesday round. Do we have any upsets in the latter part tonight? You've got the big game, and then of course you also have the Syracuse Orange, your alma mater, coming in off of a win over Florida State yesterday. Again, it could get interesting tonight. Right now it's looking like chalk will go through the bracket as Notre Dame comes out defensively in a zone.
Back for Trimble, gets a good open look, can't stick that.
But that's
another rebound.
And that's the problem when you play zone, is finding those boxing out rebounding responsibilities. And it goes right back inside to Lubin, who takes advantage of Sunder, the freshman. Even though Sunder's taller, Lubin's stronger, and is able to get the finish.
Lubin 15 and 7. Came in 8 points, 5 rebounds a game, so a very strong day. Burton with the blow by, lays it in.
How about the front line, though? We think about Withers with 18 points, then Allen Lubin with 15 points. Hubert Davis was wondering where this production has been from his front court all season long.
Passed it so well today, and they continue to do that as Powell finishes.
And great recognition by Drake Powell, not standing and waiting for the 3 in the corner, but cutting as soon as Lubin catches the basketball.
16 North Carolina assists. And 4 for the Irish. The Irish mascot continues a very enthusiastic day as Burton went inside, and he'll draw the foul. But, I mean, The Irish mascot is a show unto himself. And this is artwork here.
He is here alone. Right now, he is not concerned about anyone else in this building. It is all about the leprechaun.
That's a fact. He is in his own green world. As Burton goes to the line, 85%. And another one coming, and back onto the floor, Jalen Withers.
Yeah, and now see this move by the leprechaun. Does he realize that his guy's shooting? Is this supposed? I mean, are you trying to distract your own player?
I'm not sure.
Well, maybe it worked on the first one because Burton missed the first free throw. I'm not sure that that's the responsibility. He should be on the other end doing that when the Tar Heels are shooting free throws, right?
Oh, you've got to respect the enthusiasm. That right there is March Madness in a nutshell. Cadeau pass is interrupted.
Cadeau's first turnover of the game. 6 assists, but handling the basketball extremely well. And part of the reason why North Carolina's been able to operate so cleanly on the offensive end.
Rebound tapped around. North Carolina can't save it. As we take a look at what you need to know, presented by Intuit TurboTax. 3-point shooting last 7 games. Look at North Carolina, a difference maker because they won 6 of those.
Yeah, it really has been a difference maker for them, and the large part has been Jalen Withers. Now this performance tonight has been extra special, but he's really been a reliable 3-point threat for them over those past 7 games.
Tough drive, no, cleaned up by Carolina. Not a big scoring day for R.J. Davis, at least not yet, but a really good passing day, but he'll turn it over.
Yeah, for the first time. So he and Elliot Cadeau both were perfect. 6 assists and 0 turnovers until the last 2 possessions, each turning it over. Hubert Davis slowing down his team, which is a rarity for the Tar Heels, but one specific action on the offensive end.
Withers didn't shoot the 3. Trimble turns around, can't nail it. And out of the corner, the 3 is in and out by Serta. And a whistle as Mohammed hits the floor. Just under 8 minutes to go, and we will take a timeout. And coming up, the Clemson Tigers and Chase Hunter. They were the only team to knock off the Duke Blue Devils this season in the ACC. Ian Schifflin together can be a powerhouse, and they're always going to play tight defense as well under Brad Brownell. And this one's 62-43 North Carolina. But Clemson still to hit the floor here in Charlotte as Mohammed's at the line to shoot a 1-and-1. 0 for 6 from the field and misfires at the line. So the winner taking on the 4th seed Wake Forest in the quarterfinals tomorrow. Duke is on the floor at 12 noon tomorrow in their first action in the ACC tournament. Davis trying to make a move to get free of Trimble, can't do it. Withers picking up Burton and denies him at the 10. Right back up. That'll roll home as Mohammed gets the basket.
The first made field goal for Sir Mohammed in this game, now 1 for 7. And Micah Shrewsbury has inserted him into the lineup much more so without his son Braden Shrewsbury being available to help them on the offensive end, but it's been a struggle.
Davis, good look for the triple.
Speaking of struggle, how do you play drop coverage on R.J. Davis and give him that much space? Do they not recognize that he's well over 300 3-point field goals made throughout his career?
41% this year. Overall, 33% from 3. They get it inside to the big. Konstantinovsky, the 6'10 grad, drops in 2. He has 8. Now there's 6.5 left here in Charlotte.
At this point, North Carolina is really working more so on their offensive sets and the stuff that they're going to need to run later in the tournament. Nice drop dime once again by Elliot Cadeau, because they can continue to go back to the switching screen and roll and go inside to Van Allen Lubin, but Hubert Davis right now preparing himself for the remainder of this tournament. We've talked about they would have to win 4 games in 4 days, so it's going to be interesting to see how long he sticks with this group and this lineup, recognizing that they're going to have to get right back to it tomorrow afternoon. Speaking of tomorrow afternoon, as we get back into the mix with an ACC tournament, you'll see the top 4 seeds coming in, OB. So interesting stat for you. Okay, we talked about the top 3 teams, Duke, Louisville, Clemson. Each one of those teams has beaten each other, right? Those are 3 losses. Louisville beat Clemson, Clemson beat Duke, Duke beat Louisville. Those 3 teams only combined to lose 5 games the entire ACC conference play.
Yep.
Who is the team that is responsible for those other 2 losses? Oh, you know it.
It'll be Georgia Tech.
It would be Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech knocked off Clemson and Louisville.
But they didn't beat Duke.
They didn't beat Duke.
And they'll have an opportunity tomorrow to be able to take down the #1 seed if they can make that happen.
Cadeau up high. He finds Trimble. Wide open, but can't knock that down. But they haven't missed many of those today. North Carolina by 20. Davis drives it on the spin. No. Rebound pops free to Withers. Jalen Withers, the first half was his. He was absolutely in fuego beyond the 3-point line.
He really has been. And again, it's not just been about his 3-point shooting, although that's been the difference maker for the Tar Heels throughout this game. The nice find from Cadeau to find the hot hand, and that one did everything but go down for Withers.
So the loss, Notre Dame would drop to 15 and 18. And of course would be eliminated from the ACC tournament. North Carolina looking to pick up win number 21. Remember, they won 6 consecutive games before they fell on Saturday to the Duke Blue Devils at Chapel Hill. And they have really been drilling teams in the first half. Slithering inside, Jackson with a bucket.
And nice find from Van Allen Lubin, who's really given Hubert Davis tremendous production at that 5 spot today. Not only with the scoring and rebounding, but also distributing, finding Ian Jackson for the easy.
Olako threw it right to Withers. Dumps it off for Trimble. On the run, Jackson, a block and a foul. And 3:59 remaining. 69 to 47. It's 76 degrees here in Charlotte.
Tom and Dallin in studio. Update from the SEC from the bubble. Texas, first 4 out per Lenardi right now. 1 team behind UNC. Jordan Pope for 2.
Well, great play by Jordan Pope. 16 of the 21 points are in the paint. There's a couple of them right there. They kind of count that at the paint at the foul line, don't they?
Kind of.
I count it at the paint.
They need to win this game. They're up 8 on Vanderbilt, who's already in the field. Joe Lenardi will join Wes, Coach, and JB after the game to give you all the bubble implications from around the country. Back to OB and CA.
Cal and Tom, thank you very much, guys. Great to have you there at the best time of the year. Jackson with some iron and a friendly bounce.
Wait, I need them to get Dallin back on the line. You mean to tell me that Joe Lenardi and Jim Boeheim are going to be on the same show? That is must-see TV.
It is must-see.
I need to make sure I am by a television when that happens.
I want to hear a couple of those exchanges. About 3.5 to go. Roper will lift from the corner and knock it down. A 3-pointer for Julian Roper out of Detroit. He filled in when Burton missed about half a dozen games with a knee injury back in December.
Yeah, Roper played a significant role for the Fighting Irish last year in Michael Shrewsbury's first year. as Jalen Withers is playing a significant role in trying to get a win here in this second round of the ACC tournament.
That's a new career high, 21 points for him.
All three.
It's been something else today.
It really has been.
Carolina's been sitting pretty since about 3 minutes into the game. Konechny on the drive, had to adjust and got it to go.
And Hubert Davis recognizing now with this game pretty much in hand, he's going to get his guys off the floor. Jalen Withers, who will go out to an ovation by the Carolina faithful who showed up to see what should be a win here in Charlotte.
Looking over the Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Championship. One of the shockers here, championship game coming up on Saturday. Kansas is the number 6 seed.
I'm not sure we've seen that where Kansas is playing on the first day and not getting that bye. It's one of the top 4 seeds in the Big 12 tournament. We got to go back and remember that Kansas won the Big 12, I believe it was 12 consecutive years. So the number 1 seed is where Bill Self has spent the majority of his time at Kansas when it came tournament time.
2:22 to go.
It's an old Kansas guy.
Yeah. First time I met Roy many years ago was on a trip to do a game at Kansas and had one of the better dinners I've ever had as Roy was with Wanda and my date was Bill Raftery.
Oh, wow.
And man, was that a fun night.
I can imagine.
Great stories from Roy.
Not as much fun when I met Roy for the first time. He was my coach on the under-22 national team. And I met him in Lawrence, Kansas, where he proceeded to make me run a lot in practice.
Oddly enough, he didn't make me run at all, so I'm a big fan to this day. Always have been.
I'm a big fan as well.
Kelly with a misfire. Brown picks up the rebound. North Carolina getting the extras in the reserves at this point. After a gigantic day out of a couple of Tar Heels. Jalen Withers with 21 points. But also Venon Lubin today with 17 points and 10 rebounds. And Davis and Cadeau, the backcourt, have been outstanding too.
Our dynamic play of the game brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Elliot Cadeau pushing it in transition and finding Vin Allen Lubin for the first slam. And it was almost like an instant replay. Drake Powell getting an opportunity in the second half. But Elliot Cadeau, R.J. Davis, both those guys doing a tremendous job handling the basketball, dishing out assists without turning the basketball over much throughout this game.
Now Cadeau 10 assists and 2 turnovers. Davis with 6 assists and just the 1 turnover.
And Notre Dame only 5 assists as a team. So you can imagine Micah Shrewsbury not necessarily happy with the way his team has shared the basketball throughout this day. More importantly, the fact that they haven't made many shots to help their teammates rack up some assists.
Well, this was not in doubt at any point in the game, really. North Carolina shot out very quickly and dominated early with a slew of 3-pointers. And they had the lead, a healthy lead at halftime, and have just added on to that. Carolina was up by 14 at the break. Hawkins in the game. Brown up to set a screen. Hawkins will drive it, and Imes racing in to block it with 1:11 to go. So North Carolina about to improve to 21-12. Still firmly on the wrong side of the bubble at this point among the first 4 out. Our bracketologist Joe Lenardi says. But they're about to pick up their first win in this ACC tournament. And looking for some magic carpet ride like we saw from NC State last year.
They really are. But, you know, when you look at this Tar Heel team, especially if they shoot the basketball they were able to today, they've got a chance to beat anyone. And they have the opportunity to go up against Wake Forest, who beat them earlier this year. And the reason because Wake beat them earlier this year is the reason why Wake was able to get the double bye in comparison to having to play here on Wednesday night. So I'm sure the Tar Heels looking for a little retribution against the Demon Deacons tomorrow.
Brown jumping inside for the basket. Hines with a fall away. That won't fall, and Brown races for the rebound. Notre Dame with a win in this ACC tournament. They knocked off Pitt 55-54 yesterday, but North Carolina hammers them on day 2. And the Tar Heels, much to the delight of their fans in Carolina blue, are about to celebrate the win. 76-56, they win this one going away today in the second day of the ACC tournament. And about to take on Wake Forest in the quarterfinals tomorrow. There's your final. North Carolina 76, Notre Dame 56. Jalen Withers with a nice homecoming indeed. So it'll be the 4 and 5 seeds coming up. The number 1 seed Duke to take on Georgia Tech in the early game at noon tomorrow. That'll be Louisville against the winner of Stanford, Cal, and Clemson taking on the winner of SMU and Syracuse tomorrow night.
And great action still coming tonight. The big game, East Coast version. Stanford, Cal, SMU, Syracuse. We're going to have a lot of energy in the building tonight for those two final matchup to see who goes on to the quarterfinals tomorrow. But this afternoon belongs to the North Carolina Tar Heels, riding their ship into the quarterfinals with a matchup with the Demon Deacons tomorrow afternoon.
North Carolina hitting 13 triples today. That was the major offensive story. That and the fact that they passed the ball and shared it so well. And they roll over Notre Dame. They'll finish up at 15 and 18. And the number 12 seed has been eliminated from the tournament here in Charlotte.
Jalen, sometimes it's just nice to be home, so welcome back home. But not only do you get your career high in points, you also hit the most threes by a Tar Heel in this tournament with 7. What was it like to just really set the tone for this team today?
I think it was really good. You know, coming out with the talk, the energy, and, you know, knocking down shots was all around great. I think the team really needed it.
It seems like a brotherhood. Everyone wants to be a part of this interview with you. When you knock down or have 17 assists today, what is so cool about how connected you guys were on the court today?
For sure, we were very connected. I think it was an opportunity for me to knock down another 3. And instead of taking that 3, you know, we moving the ball around, found Vin for a dunk, and, you know, had to take advantage of it.
One way to describe this team would be dangerous, especially in these type of times. You get Wake Forest, a bit of a revenge game for you guys on the season. What about this game do you need to carry over for tomorrow?
I would say our defense and, you know, the competitive edge that we've been playing with.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
I'd have to say that it's a pretty tight group.
I would say so, but look at R.J. Davis in the mix. Jalen Withers helping him keep his career going. And the finality will not set in on the Tar Heels today. They have a big matchup tomorrow with the Demon Deacons.
Well, is that the start of something magical for North Carolina? We shall see. They get a big win here in the ACC tournament. College basketball live scoreboard is coming up next, followed by Around the Horn. For Angel Gray, Corey Alexander, and our entire outstanding ESPN crew, I'm Dave O'Brien. Thanks so much for joining us as we say so long from the T. Rowe Price ACC Men's Basketball Tournament.
So, 2 of the second round games are completed here in Charlotte. Georgia Tech a winner earlier today over Virginia, and now North Carolina will slap the sticker into tomorrow's quarterfinals, where they will see Wake Forest, the Tar Heels, the 5 seed, defeat Notre Dame handily 76-56. And we got to get James Brown some help, Joel. What's James Brown? This is a rookie mistake, isn't it?
I think it might have been the glass.
There we go. All right.
Mess him up a little bit.
So James Brown gets the sticker on the wall. A little orientation for the young man from the Washington, D.C. area.